All right, we were out of executive at 7:33 p.m. Continuing on with the agenda, we'll go right into the Pledge of Allegiance, if everyone will please rise. Okay, so we do have a special presentation today being September 23rd. We've got two. We will be reviewing the district and board goals, and we will also we'll have a presentation on the 2023-2024 HIB self-grading. So, Dr. Forte?
Dr. Cullis, would you start off with the goals?
So goal 1 is to increase achievement for all students across all of our areas with a concentration of science and math this year. We're well underway. We have purchased a new program for our elementary school students in science and continue with the training with our teachers. We have expanded our intervention services as well, which goes into goal number 2. So ongoing, we have purchased those materials, and we are going to monitor and continue to improve our science program and math as well. Goal 2 is to expand the tiered systems of support processes which address student academic and mental health needs necessary for students to be successful. So this is our TSS program, and we have had many successes already on this goal. We did create a new position, a supervisor of student support services, and hired our supervisor. We have collaborated with Linkit, which is our data analysis vendor, and we have built an intervention manager system within that. We have trained our TSS teams. We've met with each building and TSS team to create the plan for the year. We've reviewed the TSS plans that were left over from last year, and they continue on. And then we're in the process of training our teachers in how to use the forms, and we'll be starting our new referral system shortly. So intervention services start next week. That's our reading specialist, our math specialists, and any other kind of counseling, et cetera, on there.
And we have two more goals. Goal 3 is to investigate and report on possible solutions for transportation. And do you have that up there? Yes, you do. So this is a second year that we're working on some transportation issues. We're going to continue the transportation task force, which meets this week, I believe Wednesday or Thursday, one of the nights this week. We will investigate solutions to the bus depot flooding issue. As you all remember, the bus depot flooded twice last year, and that wasn't just the property, that was the building itself, where it needed to be remediated from the flooding. And we're going to review recruiting, hiring practices, consider different options, and discuss with our staff union. And goal number 4 is to implement the district's communication plan to strengthen and enhance communication coming from the district. So we're working with the technology team. We've already had one meeting with them, and we have another one coming up soon. We have our consultant in place, Mrs. Marinello, and we have our communications report that we reported to the board last year. And we are working on some solutions. Some things are fairly easy. Some things are more complicated. So we're putting them together in a manageable format that can be addressed. Try to knock out some of the low-hanging fruit first, and then have some long-term planning for the larger projects. And Mr. Kim, if you want, at the bottom of this document, we do have the board goals. If you guys want to review those, if not, I can review them for you. Just read them out loud, or everybody knows them already.
Sure, I'll take the board goals. So the first board goal is to represent the needs of the board of the district through advocacy on matters of concern at the local, state, and or national level. A brief explanation of that is to try to increase the number of resolutions, whether we present those to the New Jersey school boards or to reach out to our local assemblymen or senators to get their support on some changes that we might be in support of. The second board goal is to regularly monitor the progress toward district vision, mission, and goals, adjusting as needed. So the the district goals that were presented, we'll continue to monitor them and continue to get updates and adjust where necessary. The third goal is to review the Denville Public Schools Board of Education bylaws and revise as necessary. So a new governance ad hoc committee has been created. So we'll be looking to, and our first meeting will be, or our second meeting will be in a week or during this week as well. So we'll be presenting some potential changes to some of our bylaws. And finally, the fourth board goal is to increase the presence of the Denville Board of Education members at community and district activities. So will continue to increase our presence out there and address any questions that the public might have. So that sort of concludes the presentation. I'll open it up to the board for any questions or comments regarding what they heard and saw today. One of the things that I would like the board members to consider is sort of like the frequency of how frequent we want to get updates on some of these goals that we were that we saw today. So, for example, the communications thing goal. I'm thinking that maybe in January we might want to see some updates, but I'll discuss that with the administration during the governance committee as well. So, if there's any preferences that the board members might have in terms of frequency of updates, that would be great.
Mr. Kim, can I just make a quick question or comment with regard to the board goal number 4, which is increase the presence at events and activities? A couple things. Number one, I'd be interested in understanding where's the best way to find those things. I know we've got our calendar, but sometimes it's not always easy to find everything that's going on. So is there some place that maybe Dr. Forte, if you have a place that we can kind of find those, because some of those activities are public facing. There may be other activities that the board may be invited to. So maybe we can just, I don't need an answer tonight, but a way to kind of visualize those. And one thing that I actually brought up, I think when I was board president, and I didn't get a chance to take advantage of the opportunity, but maybe it's worthwhile again. I think there's some new board members since we did this was we do security drills within the schools, and we had previously offered Dr. Forte would just reach out and let us know when they were scheduled, and board members can attend those to kind of see that, because as not being in the schools on a daily basis, I think it's something that I'd like to go see. So if Dr. Forte thinks that's acceptable, and Mr. Kim, you do, it might be an idea that to kind of talk about showing our presence and also obviously educating ourselves on those security protocols.
I just added those 2 points that Mike brought up to the governance committee for this week.
Excellent, thank you. Yeah, that was one of my focuses as well for the governance committee, is to even create a board calendar, you know, that, because I know sometimes I'm looking through emails trying to find the exact date and time, so for different events. So yeah, that would, hopefully that could be something that we can generate from the committee. So any other questions or comments? Great. So we'll go ahead to the second part or second presentation, which is the 2023-2024 HIB self-grading.
Thank you. I'll wait till it comes up, which is coming up soon. So every year, the state of New Jersey's HIB, harassment, intimidation, and bullying law requires that we do a self-evaluation on different areas of our operations when it comes to HIB. You could see there's a link posted at the bottom. This is not for the public yet because the state has to review it, but I shared it with the board if you want to look at it. So the areas are HIB programs, approaches, and other initiatives, training on the BOE approved HIB policy and procedures, other staff instruction and training, curriculum instruction on HIB and related information and skills, HIB personnel, school HIB incident reporting procedures, HIB investigation procedures, HIB reporting procedures. Those are the 7 areas. And our teams meet to go over this. And it's something that we've been doing for going almost 10 years now, I believe. And every year we do submit it to the state. The state has approved every one. And we'll just go through a little bit. So Valley View graded at 78 out of 78, Riverview 76 out of 78, and Lakeview 77 out of 78. And if you click on those reports, you can see how each school graded themselves. Again, these reports are not supposed to be posted on the actual report. The summary will be posted on the website tomorrow, but the reports aren't supposed to be posted on the website until they're approved by the state Department of Ed, which happens sometime in after the new year. Any questions about any of this from the board?
Okay, there seems to be none. So thank you very much for that. So, during our next meeting, or during our October 28th meeting, there will be the NJSLA test results from 2023-2024 as a presentation. So for anyone who wishes to see that presentation, it'll be on the 28th of October. Moving on to our agenda, superintendent comments. Dr. Forte, please.
So we had our 2 updates. Our CUSAC update is that we have to approve our district performance report, also known as DPR, for CUSAC on October 28th. Our second meeting of the internal CUSAC committee is on Friday. And just to call your attention, we still have one more back to school night this week. Riverview is September 24th. We've already had successful back to school nights at Lakeview and Valley View. I felt that both schools did a great job engaging the parents and welcoming the public into the schools. I heard a lot of positive comments from the parents that went into the classrooms and felt the energy in both schools. We've done some upgrades to the Lakeview gym as well with a new projection system, which is definitely helping us when we need to have a large audience like the convocation or back to school night. And it's nice to have the air conditioning in there as well. And that's it for the superintendent comments.
Thank you, Dr. Forte. Assistant superintendent comments, please. Dr. Cullis.
Yes, our 6th grade study skills program started today, and it will run every day through October 11th. So we had a very successful day. And our NJSLA results are available on Genesis. So if you are looking for your student's individual report, you can go onto Genesis in the parent portal and you can find their NJSLA report. That concludes Assistant Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Cullis. Business administrator comments, please.
No comments.
Thank you, Ms. Gorowski. All right, the next part of our agenda is for public comments and public discussion. Typically, we reserve it for agenda items only, but seeing a few members here in the audience, I will open it up to any comments that they would like to make to the board. Please address your comments to myself, board president. The board typically does not respond to any comments, so we'll go ahead and listen, and we'll deliberate if there's a need for deliberation. If you do wish to make a comment, please come up to the microphone, state your name and your address, record that on the document there in the table, and then you'll have 3 minutes for any comments that you'd like to make to the board. So we are opening it up at 7:48 p.m. Yeah, it will be recorded and be posted on YouTube, I believe. So.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Kim. We're here to talk about the Valley View bus stop, which is at Route 46 in Hornbeck. As we all know, the students are required to walk and wait for the bus and be there 10 minutes before the bus is scheduled to arrive. This stop has no streetlights, no sidewalks, limited sight distance as per the AASHTO standards. We have bears, and the bear path is in between the children's houses and Route 46. So when they're scared, the only place they have to go is towards the highway. That same exact street corner had a prostitution bust where we're asking the children to stand. The children are these 11-year-old children are being asked to wait in the dark at 6:45 a.m., which is earlier than the high school students, and at which point darker through the winter as well. This is a 4-lane state highway, at 45 miles per hour, where approximately 240 to 250 cars pass by in the 10 minutes that the kids wait for the bus. Add bad weather, and then that limits them to where they can stand safely. While I understand there are multiple stops in Denville that have similar issues with lighting, bears, this stop is the perfect storm because it hits every single one of the elements I just read out loud. We have been told that this is the best option that transportation can provide, but this is not the safest option. My children, for both Lakeview and Valley View, I have older children, have always been picked up at the corner of Woodland and Maywood on a small bus. This stop has a street light. Maywood is a dead end, so there's limited cars that drive by, which makes this the safer option. I'd like to ask the board that we not normalize bus routes on Route 46. I asked the question, when will it end? Would Lakeview be next? At what age is acceptable to be on a state highway? We're talking about a bus stop for 4 children. I'd rather give them the safest option and not the best option at the time. In comparison, I did some research. Parsippany has 0 stops on Route 46 for any age level. Montville has 1 because the pickup is at a motel and there's no side streets for a bus to pass to pick up anywhere else. And Mountain Lakes has 1 where the pickup is at the student's driveway and his bus stop is the porch. The responsibility of the safety of the children is from when they leave their doors to go to their assigned bus stop to the when they get back. And I'm asking to make this a safe stop for my children. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else from the public that wishes to make a statement?
Mr. President, fellow board members, I just stopped in to introduce myself. My name is Mark Venice. I am your new council liaison. I was fortunate enough to replace Angela Cote. I just took the position last Tuesday, but I wanted to stop in, introduce myself, put a face to the name, and you just let me know how you would like this relationship to move forward and where you would need my assistance and what would be the best way to handle that. So,
Great, thank you. It's a pleasure meeting you. Is there anyone else from the public that wishes to come up to the mic and make a statement? Do we have anyone online that, if you are online and listening in, you are welcome to make a statement. You just have to type in your name and address in the chat box, and then you'll be given an opportunity to speak. Okay, seeing that there are no other individuals coming up to the mic, nor anyone online that wishes to make a statement, we are going to close public comments at 7:54 p.m. Okay, old business action to be taken. Mr. Capello, could you take us through that part of the agenda, please?
I'd be happy to. If there are no objections, I would like to move items A, B, and C under old business action to be taken. First one are the board reports from July and August of 2024, Treasurer of School Monies and Board Secretary. B are the education reports 2023-2024 Denville Schools HIB self-grading report. And finally, C are the minutes of our work session and executive session meeting of August 19th, 2024.
Second.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Saidelis,
Yes.
Dr. Aruna Jatasan,
I think I was not present for the August 19th.
19.
No, I think I was there. So yes, yes to everything.
Mr. Cass?
Yes.
Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Capello?
Yes.
Mr. Kim?
Yes. Dr. Arunajatasan, can you take us through personnel under new business, please?
Of course. If there is no objection, I'd like to move for the following resolutions under personnel. Item numbers 1 through 9, 10, I believe, 1 through 10. And first one is new hires, resignations, retirements, employee leaves, extra pay, salary, and adjustments, under which you have sub-items A through N. And in the addendum, I have another item O. And these are new hires, resignations, retirement, employee leaves, extra pay, salary, and adjustments. And from what I see, there's a new hire for a bus driver and lunch aide, and I welcome them to the district. Second item is a Family Leave Act for an employee. Third is also FMLA. Fourth is Family Leave Act, and in this case, unpaid leave. And fifth is unpaid leave also for another employee. Sixth item is a retroactive approval of FMLA and paid and unpaid leave. And seventh item is revised work rules for manager of technology. Eighth item is for the vaccine clinic at the Acme Pharmacy on October 10th for the district staff. And ninth item is a new volunteer wrestling coach, Mr. David Samuel, for Valley View for the winter 24-25 season. And 10th item is for a substitute teacher starting this year.
I'll second.
Oh,
Yep. Mr. Cass, thank you very much. Any questions or comments?
Just a quick question, Dr. Forte. I believe you know the answer, but I just wanted to always clarify. Item number 8, which is the vaccine clinic for district staff. I know it states here, obviously, no charge to the district, but also that's completely voluntary by the staff, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
If there are no other questions, roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Agelis,
Yes.
Dr. Aruna Jatasan,
Yes.
Mr. Cass.
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
yes.
Mr. Kim.
I will abstain from resolution number 8. Yes to the rest. Okay, B, instruction and program. Dr. Moore, can you walk us through that, please?
One second. Can I please pull from the agenda INP number 8 until further notice? I do reserve the right to add it back to the agenda at some point, but I would like to pull this resolution from the agenda now.
Okay, so Dr. Moore, we are going to pull resolution number 8 from the INP section of the agenda. So if you can walk us through that.
Sure. I'd like to move the following resolutions under instruction and program. Under number 1, we have workshops, NJIDA, School Health Conference, and NJPSA. For item number 2, we have the approval of the childhood victories to provide body safety education per Aaron's Law. Item number 3, to approve the use of the Marshall evaluation system for the new supervisor of student services. Item number 4 is to approve students to observe and volunteer at Lakeview every other day for 90 minutes as part of their gifted and talented program at Morris Knolls. Item number 5 is to approve a teacher for the LDTC internship hours at Lakeview. Item number 6 is to approve a Ramapo College student to complete internship hours at Lakeview School. And item number 7 is to approve the attached list of field trips for 24-25 school year.
I'll second. Thank you. Questions or comments?
Yeah, just a question on the Marshall evaluation system. Can you say a little bit about what that is?
That is just the same evaluation system that we use for the other administrators. So it has a variety of categories that staff members evaluated on. It's different than a teacher evaluation where you go in and you actually observe in that moment and do the write-up. This is an ongoing conversation. We meet on a monthly basis. There are 8 observation times through the year, and then you have a final summative. So it's all aspects of the job, from working with community, working with teachers, providing student services, communication, professional development, etc.
Thank you.
Seeing no other questions, roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Adelis,
Yes.
Dr. Aruna Jatasan,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mr. Kim.
Yes. Mr. Capello, policy and revisions, if you will, please.
I would be happy to. If there are no objections, I would like to move under policies, policy 0164.6, remote public board meetings during declared emergency, abolishment for second reading. P0141, board member number and term revised for second reading. Policy 8467, firearms and weapon policy is new for second reading. Regulation 8467, firearms and weapons policy and regulation, also new for second reading. Policy 2200, curriculum and content is being revised for second reading. Regulation 5200, attendance being revised for second reading. Policy 5350, student suicide prevention policy for second reading. Policy 9181, volunteer athletic coaches and co-curricular activity advisors assistant revised for second reading. Policy 3160, physical examination revised for second reading. Regulation 3160, physical examination being revised for second reading. Policy 4160, physical examination revised for second reading. Regulation 4160, physical examination also being revised for second reading. Policy 5337, service animals being revised for second reading. Sorry, bear with me one sec. Policy 8420, emergency and crisis situations being revised, second reading. Policy 4113, overtime, which is new, second reading. Policy 2610, education program evaluation being revised, second reading. Policy 7102, site selection and acquisition is new, being for second reading. Regulation 7102, site selection and acquisition, also new for second reading. Policy 4240, employee training is new, second reading. Policy 2421, career and technical education is new, second reading. Regulation 2421, career and technical education is new, second reading. And finally, Policy 8500, food services is new for second reading.
Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Anderson. Questions or comments?
Yeah, just a quick question. We didn't have a firearms and weapons policy.
So we have different policies. This is just organizing it differently. Whereas, in other words, like sometimes, like even the abolishment policy, we're abolishing something that we have in another policy. So this is taking some of the weapons out of another policy and making its own policy.
Just to be clear, we treat them as new when they're not being revised from a previous same number, right? So this is one where, like you said, we're collecting other pieces from others, and this is brand new in the sense that it is a new policy that contains things from other places.
Yes.
Thanks.
I just want to bring attention to the regulation 5200, which is the attendance. There is a change. In previous version, students needed to bring a note on the third day of absence from a doctor. That has been changed to be 4 or more days. They would need to, upon their return, would need to bring a doctor's note. We also do accept excused absences that are reported by parents by either phone or written note.
Great, thank you. Roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Adelis,
Yes.
Dr. Aruna Jatasan,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mr. Kim.
Yes. Okay, finance, Mr. Anderson, if you will, please.
Sure. If there are no objections, I'd like to move under D, finance, item number 1, which is our bills list. Item number 2 is the board to approve donation of 15 boxes of school supplies from the Denville Township Social Services. Item number 3, the board to approve the attached food services biosecurity management plan. Item number 4 is for the board to approve the 24-25 enrichment program at Lakeview and Riverview at the cost as listed in the agenda. Item number 5 is the board to approve a donation of a projector tag number 1137, for us to donate it to the Denville Blue Angels football organization. This is no longer needed by the district. Item number 6 is that the board approve the following individuals to attend the New Jersey School Board workshop and expedition in Atlantic City, New Jersey on October 24th to the 21st to the 24th, 2024 at a group reservation rate of $2,100. Additional cost per person is as follows: hotel $107 per night, meals and incidentals $44.25 first and last day, $59 for the full day plus mileage reimbursement expense. Dr. Stephen Forte, Mrs. Damaris Gorowski, Mr. James Kim, Mr. Michael Anderson, Dr. Clifford Moore, and Nicole Kellum. Item number 7 is for the board to reject the cybersecurity bid open on September 7, 2024 regarding cybersecurity proposal as listed in the agenda. Item number 8 is that Denville Township Board of Education approve the attached current model OPRA request form, which all agencies are required to adopt pursuant to NJSA 41:1A-5F. Item number 9 is for the board to approve the attached quotes from Core BTS and Altitude Unlimited regarding the multi-factor authentication implementation district-wide in the amount listed below, as listed in the agenda. Item number 10 is that the Board of Education to approve the donation of $1,049.89 from the Rotary Club of Rotary Club of Denville for the purchase of atlases for students in grade 3. Item number 11 for the Board of Education to approve the donations of $1,049.50 from the Sunshine Rotary Club of Denville for the purpose of atlases for students in grade 3. Item number 12 is for the board to approve the agreement with Center for Evaluation and Counseling Incorporated to provide school clearance and psychosocial evaluations risk assessments for the 24-25 school year at a rate of $250 to $750 per evaluation. And finally, item number 13 for the Board of Education to approve the resolution authorizing participation in the state health benefit program and/or school employees health benefit program of the state of New Jersey for teachers. That is 1119-00 and the administration and support staff 1119-01 for the period of January 1st, 2025 through December 2025 in the amount of $7,057,262.
I'll second.
Thank you. Questions or comments?
I had one. On number 10, the donation purchase of the atlases. I haven't heard that since probably 6th grade. So we're actually, it's an atlas, a paper atlas, like you used to get to navigate your way across the country if you're going out to Nashville or Route 66 all the way out to the West Coast.
So this is a Denville Rotary project that we do every year, but historically we've given dictionaries when we felt that dictionaries were worse than atlases. We got together with the 3rd grade teachers, and the curriculum in 3rd grade is actually a lot about understanding yourself, understanding your world, understanding where you come from. So yes, every child in 3rd grade will receive a physical hardcover atlas so that they can see the world in their hands.
It's a world atlas,
It is
or just US?
it is a student atlas that they use in the curriculum in 3rd grade. So it's like 90 pages. It's every country. It's how to read a map. It's how to find where you are in the world. So pretty important, right? I mean, dictionaries are important too, but we went a different way this time.
No, it's great that we're teaching the kids to look at a map, because sometimes the GPS doesn't always work. And if you watch some of the military military shows and a sniper school, they have to learn how to navigate and orient themselves without the benefit of technology, like the old days with a compass.
My son's going to love it. No, I know he's in third grade. He's going to love it. I guarantee that's a great thing.
We did ask, like, I asked the principals to meet with the teachers, come up with an idea of whether or not it really came from, are the dictionaries really becoming a paperweight? The answer back was they're really not used. What would be more used? And we came up with a couple options. There was a nonfiction text. There was maybe even the reading text that they were going to do. This seemed like the one that everybody felt the most comfortable with, that was going to get the most use. And that's where we got this from. But I appreciate it. I had a meeting with the Rotary about it, and Andrea and I have been working on this since the summer. So it's good that it's actually happening.
Make a point about the Rotary. The Rotary is an international organization, and that's kind of where we come in. They are all over the world, and they try to do good works everywhere. So we are lucky enough to have two here in Denville, one that meets in the morning and one that meets in the afternoon, because maybe you're not a morning person, maybe you like lunch. So that's why we have two. But all those people have the capacity to do something good for the community. And so we got together and we were able to think of something a little bit that works with the curriculum and that isn't a dictionary. Really.
And I would love to hear the feedback from the kids and see how they liked it. I really think it's a very, very good idea.
In addition to that donation, which is awesome, just wanted to note the donation from the Denville Township Social Services. I think that's been a ongoing relationship, phenomenal, between the township and the school district, as far as helping each other, identifying needs that they may have where we can solicit or help out individually, and they've been just phenomenal with helping out for needs that we have. So appreciate that, and just wanted to make sure I add a special thank you for that donation. And then I did, Mr. Kim, I think it is worth noting the discussion on the state health benefit program and the changes to the benefits. I don't know if you want to lead that or leave it to you.
Please, Mr. Anderson, why don't you go ahead and share your thoughts on from the committee as well?
Sure. No, thank you. So this is a tough one. We have gone back and forth on being in the state health benefit program for our staff and being outside of it, meaning we individually as a district solicit bids, and please, Mrs. Growski, if I say something out of line, just cop in and correct me. But we have kind of gone back and forth on being in the program with the state, and then when there's been times when the increase for the state health benefit plan, their increase has been greater or more costly to the district than it would be for us to individually go out and solicit bids. These decisions on this do not come lightly. We recognize that changing insurances is not always easy, although I want to make it clear that the level of the benefit plan is always the same. So there's no changes to the level of the benefit plan, but it could be a change to the company that it represents or the plan. So there could be some changes, or even a change of a number. We know that can be difficult for staff members because you have to go remind your provider of that, and could cause issues with billing and whatnot. So we recognize that there's challenges there, but in this situation, and Mrs. Growski, can you remind me exactly what the percentage increase was if we were to stay in a individual plan?
If we were to stay in the current plan, it will be 50% increase in the next 12 months.
And do you remember off the top of your head the dollar figure that was?
That would have been about almost $500,000 to the district.
Yeah,
or a little more.
And we obviously
Increase.
And the budgeting gets difficult too, because just for clarification for the public, we work our benefit cycle on a calendar year, but our fiscal cycle is July 1st through June 30th, right? So we do budget in July for an understanding of what we predict to be the benefit increase in the beginning of the next calendar year. Is that correct, Ms.
That is
Growski?
correct. We normally know the first 6 months of the year because we have the current plan. But the last 6 months is always unknown. And it could be stable at the same rate, but it can also increase. In this case, it has been a huge increase to the district. And unfortunately, we needed to go and solicit other quotes from other vendors and come up with the best option, of course, offering the same or equal better plan.
Thank you. And so we don't take this lightly to kind of move plans, but we do think this is what's best for the district and the employees, obviously making sure that it's as least impactful. We work with a insurance broker that helps support that transition process. Staff members, for instance, if you have a deductible, your deductible carries over, so you're not going to end up anything negative to any employees. But I just thought it was worthwhile to kind of bring up and discuss and make sure the board understands. I mean, I think we're unfortunately in a position where we didn't have a choice here. And recognize that previously we didn't have a choice the opposite direction, where we had to get out of the state health benefit plan because the increases were so high in the state health benefit plan that we were better off going to an individual plan. So some of this, it gets difficult for a small district like Denville because we have a small pool of employees that are in the plan. So depending on what their claims are in the previous few years, that could significantly affect the rates at which we pay. So hopefully that clarifies that change. And please know that there was a lot of time spent by the administration as well as the finance committee kind of going through it, making sure we understood it and trying to make the best decision for everybody involved.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. Any other board members that wish to make a comment? Yeah, from my understanding, it was a very difficult decision by the administration, and having an increase of over $500,000 on a budget that is already tight and is limited by a 2% increase, it really did put you in a difficult position. So I appreciate all the work that the finance committee did, as well as all the work that the administration did. So thank you.
And I think,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
No,
Jim.
I was just going to add, Mike, I mean, so the point about the $500,000 increase, just to put the scale on it, when you talk about a 2% increase, that's almost the entire thing. I mean, that amount of money. So just so that for the public's aware that amount of money would be the entire increase for the year. So.
And it should just finally be noted that even with going to the state health benefit plan, this is actually more than what the increase is that we had budgeted for. Is that correct, Mrs. Growski?
Yes, that is correct. The 50%, it would have been really, really big.
Even the state
considering
health benefit plan, their increase is greater than what we budgeted for. Is that correct?
The state health benefit increase is 24%. It is a lot higher than what we expected to receive when we did not know what type of increase we were going to get during the last budget cycle. Yes, it is a lot higher.
Even that's going to require us to find some extra money in other places and kind of crimp down on some other areas to be able to make sure that we could fund that exceeding the budget item. But I'm confident that Mrs. Gorowski can find that in some other line items.
There's a little there's silence coming from that corner, Mr. Anderson. So, but I think that one of the things that I'll try to take upon ourselves, and maybe we as board, when we go down to Atlantic City and have our meetings with New Jersey school boards to discuss the increase of health insurance that I'm sure other districts are feeling as well. And if we can get somehow lawmakers bring it to their attention, maybe we can get some support from them as well. So it's including Mr. Venice that's sitting here as well, you know, whatever he can do. So, okay. Any other questions or comments before we go into roll call? Roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Yeah, I'll abstain from 6E and yes to everything else.
Mrs. Aidelis,
Yes.
Dr. Aruna Jatasan,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes, I abstain on 6A and yes on everything else. Apologize. 6D is in David.
thank you. Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mr. Kim,
Abstaining from 6C, but yes to everything else.
thank you.
Mr. Cass, operations, if you will.
Under operations, we have One item under transportation, I'm asking the board to approve the attached resolution for participation in the coordinated transportation with Hunter County Educational Service Commissions for the 24/25 school year. Under buildings and grounds, item number 2.1 is for the board to approve the quote from Clean Earth to dispose of all chemicals, the amount of $1,930.37. It will be paid from maintenance reserve. Item 2.2 is to approve the attached quote from CJ Vanderbeck and Son Incorporated to repair all the boilers at Riverview in the amount of $8,815, and that also will be paid from maintenance reserve.
I'll second.
Thank you. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Dr. Moore,
Yes.
Mrs. Agelis,
Yes.
Dr. Abuna Jatasan,
Yes.
Mr. Cass,
Yes.
Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Mr. Capello,
Yes.
Mr. Kim.
Yes. Okay, the next section of the agenda is called the good of the cause, where we'll go through any comments from committee reports, correspondence, discussion items, or other items. One of the items that we will discuss is the board meeting highlights. So Dr. Forte, do you have any highlights that you wish to communicate with the rest of the public?
I was going to highlight the donations and the two reports, the two presentations, and then highlight that Dr. Cullis will be presenting our NJSLA scores in October.
Does the board members have anything else that they wish to add? Okay.
Yeah, I had something under good of the cause. Unless I'm incorrect, Board of Ed debates. We have an election coming up. I believe there's 3 candidates and 2 seats open. So are we going to have a debate like I had to go through the last time I ran?
Yes, Don, there's going to be a debate on October 8th. Only 2 of us are going to be participating out of the 3. So yeah, October 8th, I think it's 7 o'clock.
Do they have a did they set a location yet?
It's
or is
virtual.
Oh,
Can you get me the info so we can put it out to the public?
Sure.
What was the time on that again?
I believe it was 7. I'll double check and get back to you, but I think it's October 8th, 7 o'clock.
Is that the League of Women Voters from Mountain Lakes?
So 2 people will participate in the virtual debate. Okay.
It'll be on YouTube.
I know. I had to do it in person.
me too, Don.
So did I.
I watched, Don. I saw you.
The optics aren't good.
Apparently you did pretty good, Don.
I had a lot of help.
Just for good of the cause, or just to mention, very successful back to school nights for Lakeview and Valley View. I know Riverview is this week, but I just want to thank the teachers and the administration. The principals did an excellent job in making us all feel like 6th graders again, trying to find where our classes are. So very helpful.
Just a quick couple of things from the Denville Education Foundation as their liaison. They had a successful movie night a few weeks ago. Really well attended. Weather was perfect. So appreciate everybody who attended that. And then their largest fundraiser of the year is Tuesday, October 22nd. It's their golf outing, dinner, tricky tray, auction. It's going to be at Knoll Country Club this year, a little bit different than where they've had it in the past. It is during school board convention, so I know 3 of us will be down there, but the remaining board members, if you're interested, you can let me know. I think I said last time I would send out the info, so I'll send out the link. Apologize. So you have it. You can register directly. Feel free to reach out to me. They've been meeting on a weekly basis to get it all set up. And I think that's it for the Education Foundation.
Okay. Since there's no further comments for the good of the cause, we'll go ahead and open it up for public comments again at 8:25 p.m. As you come up to the microphone, feel free to state your name and address. and you'll have 3 minutes to make additional comments. Okay, seeing no one come up to the mic and no one online wishing to make a comment, we'll close it at 8:26 p.m. There is a need for executive session, right? Yep. Okay. Ms. Adelis, would you mind taking us through executive?
Sure, no problem. I move to convene to executive session in accordance with Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act. The purpose of this closed session will be to discuss negotiations, legal, security, and personnel issues. Minutes of this session will be made available to the public when the need for confidentiality no longer exists.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any nays, abstentions? Okay, before we go in, for the public, we will not be voting on anything germane to the district, so we will adjourn immediately after executive session. So thank you all for coming in tonight.